Today I thought we'd have a lovely little discussion about a probably little known contest to those outside of Europe. Okay, excluding a few countries. It's called the Eurovision Song Contest. Now this has been going on for decades. Countries from Europe would submit an entry into this song contest and then the nations would vote and decide the winner. The UK has won it once, I believe. I don't think it was Engelbert Humperdinck that won it, but we won it at least once. As the years have gone by since that victory, we have noticed a trend with the voting patterns, which is why we always do so badly. Of course, it doesn't help when we have acts like, I think Daz, I think that's what his name was, he did the lamest rap I have ever heard in my life, and I've listened to Rice Gum and KSI. In any case, it's hard to compete against acts like Lordi, who I think and still maintain are one of the greatest acts to ever come out of this contest ever. But this year, something I noticed that stood out had my interest, and enough so that I thought we'd talk about an article related to the Eurovision Song Contest, but also some of the entrants and how on earth they managed to get in. Because you'd think with the name Eurovision, the countries that participated would be of European origin. Well, that's not the case. Certainly in the case of the 2018 winner, Israel, I don't see how they're at all connected, unless my geography is off and European territories have stretched. But it turns out there's a reason why Israel is allowed to compete, and it's because the Israel Broadcasting Authority has been a part of the European Broadcasting Union. This membership allows the country to compete, and they have done so far 39 times, winning on 4 occasions. In the years 1973, 1979, 1998 and 2018. That's quite a record. In 2015, another country that I'm not entirely sure how they managed to join did, and that was Australia. Now I'm not the best with geography, but can someone tell me how Australia, the bulk of Australasia, is somehow connected to Europe? Or a contest that is and was supposed to be a predominantly European endeavour? Then again, it was only recently I found out that countries like Azerbaijan and Morocco have competed, and that Lebanon and Tunisia were considering competing in the future. Wow. It took me a few weeks to get my head around Russia being involved. I didn't even realise Kazakhstan was in Europe. Based on the lines, I thought it was in Asia. Little did I know. But somehow, through some weaving of bureaucracy, other countries that are not related to Europe, which kind of renders the whole Eurovision Song Contest redundant, really. You should just change the name to World Contest. I think that would be more interesting, especially if you got singers from the States and also from South America. I don't care about Canada. You gave us Sum 41, and you also gave us Nickelback. No one is going to forgive you for that. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Anyway, all that aside, today's topic is going to be about an accusation aimed at Israel, after their winning act was accused of cultural appropriation after the singer performed her winning song in a kimono. While I'm not truly clued up on the Israeli culture, I'm not convinced a kimono is a part of it. So there are arguments, and valid ones, that it is in fact cultural appropriation, or is it cultural appreciation? I know some will say one's a myth and the other's true. I firmly believe the latter is true and the former is absolute bollocks. And also I want to point out that I don't inherently see a problem with anyone appropriating a culture in the first place. By appropriating it, you're showing an interest in it. So what on earth is wrong with that? So, Foreign came first in the Eurovision Song Contest, scoring 529 points. Congratulations. For winning something that nobody really cares about in this country especially. Hell, I don't even know who we entered in this year. I know that they were interrupted halfway through their song though, and I believe they scored quite badly. Viewers have taken to Twitter to accuse Foreign of cultural appropriation, describing her win as a massive step backwards. On the screen now is an image of what she was wearing, and I get it. It does look like cultural appropriation. I have a strange feeling a lot of people who watch Eurovision think that people who choose to sing for their countries are going to sing with something referencing their culture. Apparently, the Israeli culture is taken from the Japanese culture. The cats do look pretty cool though. But I also know that to truly stand out in the Eurovision Song Contest, you shouldn't just draw on your own culture, or I don't know if it's encouraged, but you shouldn't really let that be the only thing. You need to stand out and be unique in a very specific way. The perfect example is Lordi. Look at them, they're amazing. Hard Rock Hallelujah was a brilliant song, it was a banging tune. I know that the people in those costumes weren't very comfortable, but seriously, that shit was awesome. And you've got to admit, an Israeli woman singing stands out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So the 25-year-old took to the stage wearing a pink and black silk kimono, traditional Japanese costume, with her hair in roller buns, a style synonymous with Japanese culture. The weebs are everywhere. They've infected society. Soon they'll take over the world, and only Will Smith will have the cure in his blood. Fake God help us all. She performed to a backdrop of foreign Nikos, I think. A Japanese figurine depicting a waving cat and is thought to bring the owner good luck. Well, as you can see from the number she had on the stage there, fuck me, she had all the luck in the world. There are African children starving and you had all of those there? Honestly, what's wrong with you? The not-so-subtle links to the country did not go unnoticed by viewers who took to Twitter to share their disappointment. Aww. So let's have a look at some of these tweets. So how come no one's calling Israel out on their cultural appropriation? The answer is simple. Because nobody gives a shit. Certainly in this country, I don't even think anyone knew this was happening. I think I used to pay attention when I was a child, and Terry Wogan presented it from our end. But as the years went by, his cynicism just got worse and worse. To the point where I honestly believed he would just rage quit halfway through when he realised it wasn't so much about the talent that people were voting on, but it seemed strategic, in favour of allies. And I don't think many see us as an ally, the United Kingdom that is, because we're somewhat Eurosceptical. I don't think many nations want to support us, even if we were amazing. Again though, Daz and Engelbert Humperdinck? No. Yeah, okay. Israel, your song is catchy, but what's up with the cultural appropriation that nobody seems to be talking about? No one seems to be talking about it, again though, because nobody cared about it. And second, it's just a contest of singers. Most people, certainly in my country, agree that there's a level of politics to this that makes absolutely no sense to anyone really. I know a lot used to vote in the past based on oil and gas lines, but that just seems stupid now. Israel's attitude to this seems to be, can't be accused of cultural appropriation if you appropriate all of them. Well, it worked, didn't it? They won with a landslide. It's fantastic to see a big girl singing a feminist song in Eurovision, but cultural appropriation much? I like that you've tagged the singer who won the contest in that. And tell me now, what's more empowering? What's truly more empowering than a big girl singing a feminist song, so that could be about anything, it could be about cutting guys' dicks off, quite frankly, and wearing a culture they truly appreciate, which apparently is not the Jewish one. I mean the Israeli one, sorry. I didn't want to be accused of misreligiously labelling somebody. Yeah. In a year when cultural appropriation has been a hot topic of conversation and Israel has been called to account for its racist and oppressive attitudes towards Palestinians, Israel winning Eurovision feels like a massive step backwards. Well, you know what the moral to the story is? Stop giving a fuck about Eurovision, because Israel's not even in this continent, and yet somehow gets to compete in a competition called Eurovision, because of network-related technicalities. If you really want to endorse a competition that has Euro in it, why not consider, telling those countries that aren't European to not enter into it? It sounds a tad bitter on my part, but to be clear, this does not mean for even 1 second I would care any more or less about this pathetic competition. Most of the acts that win don't exactly go on to monstrous success. You forget about them quite quickly. Oh, there's some more tweets. Oh, lovely. So cringy. Cultural appropriation won. All right then. Salty. Isn't she legit doing cultural appropriation as well? Wow, well done Europe. I'm not restating earlier points. Can you stop giving points to Miss Cultural Appropriation over here? I think she should trademark Miss Cultural Appropriation. Or a whole new name, something really standoutish, something bold, something brazen like, Miss, I'm a fucking weeb, get over yourselves, you fucking idiots, I won a fucking contest, you pathetic shits. The song, which the artist said was about women's empowerment and represented the #MeToo movement, proved a hit with both the public and jury and saw her narrowly secure victory over Foreign's performance of Fuego. She managed to secure the win with 529 points compared to the runner-up Cyprus on 436. Austria's Caesar Sampson, who was winning the jury vote, finished third with 342. Speaking after her win, Foreign said, I'm so happy, thank you so much, thank you for supporting diversity, which if anything I think she now epitomizes. Come on, big feminist Israeli woman wearing Japanese clothes, singing about women's empowerment, while appropriating costume from a culture that doesn't actually have much in the way of feminism in it. It's hilarious. The next Eurovision is expected to be held in Israel following the country's 4th win in the competition's 63-year history. That's brave. Let's hope Israel doesn't get into any more of those delicate little scuffles they love so much. Now, most people would agree that people who've taken to Twitter to moan about cultural appropriation come across as nothing more than, I don't know, the perpetually or the professionally offended folk that can't stand the fact that somebody's just having a bit of fun. You shouldn't really take it too seriously. It's Eurovision. Maybe it's a British thing to just not give a shit anymore. Maybe it's because we don't win. Anyway, Eurovision all aside, and somehow magically how countries get into the contest when they're not a part of Europe. Now we know it's part of a TV network-related technicality. I keenly await Brazil's entry, as well as somebody from the North Pole. So I hope everyone has a lovely day, and thank you all for listening.
Omegon, I'm going to batter your prostate.
Imagine my shock